Hello there, in this particular lesson we are going to be studying a new library that is Flask. So using the Flask library we can create different websites with the help of it, and Flask is a micro web framework written in Python. And Flask can be used to develop different web applications using Python programming. So now we are going to be studying with Flask library and we are going to be creating different websites using that. So let's get started with it. So first of all we need to set up our development environment for our Flask development. So before getting started with Flask, we are going to be also understanding about this concept that is virtual env. So if I just search on the browser, virtual env, and over here you can see this is a library or a tool that helps us to create an isolated virtual Python environment. So let's say we have a particular requirement for a package version. So if I go to uh, search for OpenCV package, and over here, so over here you can see that there are different versions of this package that are available. So there is version 4.6.0 and there is version 4.5 and so on. So let's say we want to use a particular version that is 4.40.46. So we need this particular version of OpenCV to be installed on our system. And let's say we don't want to interrupt the current version that we have in our environment or in our Python version that is 4.6. So let's say I want to use a previous version of this particular library. In that case, what I can do is I can use the virtual environment and we can create this particular virtual environment which will create a particular instance of Python in our system that will be separated from our main Python instance. So basically it is going to be creating a virtual isolated environment for Python development, and over there we can install any packages that we want, any version of that, and they will be not reflected in our main Python that we have installed on our system. So let me just try to install this thing onto our system. So I will just copy this command and we will go into our VS Code IDE. We will open the terminal and we will just try to paste this code over here, and if we hit enter, so it will start downloading it onto our system, and it will take few seconds to install this virtual environment package onto our system. And after that we can just use this command that is virtual env, and we can create another virtual environment in our folder over here. So you can see we are inside our Python 101 folder, and over here I will just paste this command which says virtual env, and we need to name our virtual environment. So I will name it as flask hyphen env, and if we hit enter, so let's see what output we are getting. So it is showing virtual env is not recognized. So what we can do is we can provide Python over here, and I will do Python hyphen m virtual env, and the name of the virtual environment that we want to create, that is flask underscore env. And if we hit enter, now this command should work and it should create a new folder inside our current folder, and it should create a virtual environment over here. So you can see here is the environment that it has created. It has generated some files and script as well that we can use to enter into this particular virtual environment. So basically it is going to be a Python instance itself that we can use to run our code inside that particular env. Now, once we are done with that, we can just do cd, and we need to change the directory to the flask env hyphen env, and we are going to be going inside that. There is a directory called scripts. So you can see here is the script directory. We need to cd into that. We will do scripts, and if we hit enter, so we are now right now inside this particular scripts directory, and in here we are going to be adding activate, and if we hit enter after writing this, it will give us an output. Okay, I think it is not working inside the PowerShell. So what we can do is we can do cmd over here. So we'll do cmd, and if we hit enter, so now we are inside the cmd instead of the PowerShell, and inside the command prompt we can do activate. Now I think activate.bat should work for the CMD if we hit enter. So now you can see we are inside our virtual environment, that is Flask env. So now we can install any packages that will be installed inside this virtual environment, and it will not reflect in our main Python environment. So let me show you an example of that. So let's try to install Flask. So I will do pip install Flask, and if we hit enter, so it will start installing this particular package onto our system, and it will take few seconds for installing the Flask package onto our system. And now you can see it has successfully installed the Flask package on our system, which is inside our virtual environment. So now let's try to create a new folder over here. So we are going to be naming it as Flask. Inside this Flask folder, we are going to be creating a new file that will be app.py. And over here, we will do import Flask print Flask dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. And if we save our code and if we try to run our code now, okay, so you see in the output screen we are getting that import Flask no module error that says Flask is not installed onto our system, while we are running this code using our regular Python, that is the Python that we have installed globally, that is on our system. If we just close this window from here, and if I just try to do cd dot and once again, and if I do cd Flask, and in here if we try to run Python app.py, and if we hit enter, now you will see that there is a particular version of Flask that is installed on our system. So you can see here is how the virtual environment works, and it creates an isolated environment for our development. So we can use this particular virtual env to install multiple packages onto our system with different versions of these packages, and these packages will be not merging with our main Python. So this is how we can create a virtual environment, and we have also installed the Flask package onto our system successfully. So after that, what we can do is we can just remove this thing from here, and we are going to be creating our first Flask app that will be a basic hello world app using Flask. So for that, we can do from Flask import Flask, and the F for this Flask will be capital. And this virtual environment is not mandatory. If you want, you can create the virtual environment. Otherwise, if you don't understand this thing, you can easily skip this part, and you can move on with installing the Flask into your main environment. After that, we are going to be creating an app using the Flask. So here I will do app that will be equals to Flask, and inside this we are going to be passing underscore underscore name underscore underscore. After that, we are going to be doing app dot route, and inside this route we are going to be providing a slash. I will be explaining you in more detail how this code works, but for now let's move on with the code. Let's create an function name hello world. So we are going to be creating a basic application that will print hello world using Flask, and in here we're going to be returning return, and inside this we're going to be passing some HTML data. So I will do h1, and I will add slash h1, and in here we're going to be providing hello world. After that, what we can do is we can create a main function over here. So I will do if underscore underscore name is equals to, in double quotes we are going to be creating the main function. I will provide here main, and underscore underscore. After that, we're going to be adding a colon over here, and I have forgotten to add double equals to. So we need to do this format to create a main function in Python. So we are doing if underscore underscore name is equals to main. And inside this main function, we are going to be calling the app that we have created. We will do app.run. And in here, we are going to be providing debug is equals to true. And if we save our code, and if we try to run our code inside our virtual environment, then let's see what output we will get. So you can see here is the output that we get, and a Flask server has been started in our background that we can access. So if I just try to, and over here you can see that there is a server running on this particular address, and if we just do control and click over here, so over here you can see that there is a server running in the background, and it says the requested URL was not found on the server. If you enter the URL manually, please check your spelling and try again. Okay, we are missing out one thing over here where we need to add an @rate with this app, then only it will work. So this is a particular format that we are missing in our code. That's why we are getting this particular error. So side by side, you are also experiencing what errors that you can encounter throughout developing your Flask website. So just keep in mind that while creating the route, we need to add an symbol in front of the app. So if we just try to save the code and try to run it again. So okay, I think I have by mistakenly closed the command prompt. So let's try to change our Python interpreter to the virtual environment one. So over here you can see there is a Python version given over here, that is the global Python interpreter. If we click on this, you can see there are different Python versions available on our system, and you can also see that there is the Flask env Python interpreter. So this is the global interpreter that we have on our system, and this is the virtual environment that we have created. So we can just select this virtual interpreter, and now you can see we are inside the virtual environments interpreter. So if we just save our code, try to run it now, so we should get this particular output. If we do control plus, so you can see here is the browser output that we get. So it is printing out hello world. So we have basically created a simple application that prints out hello world using Flask with the help of this piece of code. So we just need to write only 10 lines of code to create a particular basic website using Flask. So this is how we can create a minimal Flask app using Python. So I think that was it for this particular video on virtual environment and basics of Flask. So let's move forward in our course and get started with some projects using Flask. So without further ado, let's move to the next video of our course. So in the previous lesson, we have created the simple Flask application. So if I try to run it, so in the output, we will get a particular website. So here you can see here is a static website that we have created using Flask, and this piece of code that we have written in our previous lesson. So in this particular lesson, we are going to be adding a dynamic aspect to our application, and we are going to be taking the input from the user with a username, and we are going to be greeting the user. So over here, we are going to be adding another app route. So we will do @app dot route, and in here we're going to be providing a route such as /welcome and another slash over here after the welcome, and we're going to be passing the name of the particular user. So we are going to be taking an input from the user itself, the name of that user, and we are going to be welcoming that user. So we are going to be creating a function def that will be welcome underscore name, and inside this function we're going to be passing this value that is name, which we will be taking from the user through the URL itself, and we're going to be fetching the value for this variable that is name, and inside here we're going to be returning welcome and the name of the user, After this, I will add a concatenation and we're going to be passing the name over here. And if you want, we can also add an exclamation mark. And once we are done with this, we can just try to save our code. And we have added a new route to our website. And if we go to this particular URL, we are going to be getting this in return that says hello and the name of the user. So we are going to be providing a URL in this format. So I will just try to copy this. And if we just try to run it, and if we go to our server, so let me open the server. So you can see over here, we have our static website that we have created, and by default it is on the home route, which is here. You can see this is the home route of our application where it says hello world, and we have created a new route as well that will take us to this other page where it will welcome the user. So to go over there, we just need to pass a data over here. So I just need to do slash welcome and the name of the user. So let me add a name as John. And if we hit enter, so you can see it is showing up welcome John. So we can also make some changes over here. So I can set it to h1, and I will just try to close this h1 tag slash h1. Let's see if this works or not. So if we go back into our website, and if we try to refresh our page, so you can see now it is in headline. So now we have added a h1 tag to this data, and when we just save our code, it is updating the server in real time and restarting the server. So whenever we make any changes over here, so if I add something welcome user, and if I just try to save it, you can see in the command prompt itself, it is saving the changes and restarting the server. So you can see restarting the server, and we get the updated result in our server. So if we go back to our website, if we refresh the page, you can see welcome user John. And if we just try to remove that, and if we save it again, you can see it is restarting the server and saving the changes in real time on our website. And if we just refresh the page, we can see the output in real time, and the updation is done in real time. We can also change the name of the user to something else. Let's say I provide here Bob, and if we hit enter, now you can see the name of the user has been changed to Bob. Welcome Bob. We can name it whatever we want. Let's say Adam. And here you can see it is updating these values in real time. So here is how we can create an application using Flask to welcome a user, and we can create a dynamic application where we are passing the values and it is changing the values in real time. And we by default have created another page or app that will tell the user hello world, and these values static. But over here, when we are calling the welcome function, in there we are passing the value as well, and it is changing it in real time, and it is greeting the user, and we can pass whatever name we want to the particular user and it will welcome that particular user. So this is how we can create a dynamic app using Flask. So I think that was it for this particular video. So let's move to the next video of our course. So in this section of our course, we are going to be adding a HTML file to our app, and here you can see that we are just using a single line of code to just print hello world, but we want to use a particular HTML file inside which we are going to be writing some HTML code, and it will try to render that code for us. So for that, first of all, we need to create another folder inside our Flask directory, and we're going to be naming it as templates. So let me just try to create that first. We'll do templates LATS. And inside our templates folder, we're going to be creating our HTML file that will be index.html. And if we hit enter, so we will get this new file. So inside our HTML file, we will just add an exclamation mark and we'll press the tab key. So it will create a boilerplate code for us. And over here, you can see the name of the page. So here we can change the title of the page. That will be Flask website. Okay, Flask website. And after that, in here, inside our body, we're going to be creating a h tag. So header 1, that will be welcome to the Flask website. And after that, if we just try to save this particular HTML file, so you can add any kind of data inside this HTML file that we have created, which is index.html, and it is inside this folder that is templates. So by default, the Python app will search for this particular folder that is templates, and in there it will search for an HTML file. So the name of this file, which is the index.html, we're going to be providing it inside our code. So once we are done with that, we will go inside our app.py and we will just minimize this thing. So in our import, we are going to be adding a comma over here, and we're going to be importing another function that will be render underscore template. So using this function or this piece of code, we can render a template that will be an HTML template using our piece of code. And after importing this, we are going to be making some changes in our hello world. So over here in this function, we're going to be making some changes. So we're going to be returning render underscore template, and in here we're going to be providing the name of the template. So inside that, we will just pass index dot html, and it will just search for this particular folder that is templates, and inside that it will find out this file that is index.html, and it will try to render the HTML code from inside this file. And after that, if we save our code and try to run it, so it should run the server for us. And if we just click on the server, so you can see in the output screen that welcome to the Flask website. I think we have done some spelling mistake with welcome. So here if I do welcome, now if we save the code, it will change the data in real time and it will show us the output. So you can see if we just try to refresh the page, now you can see welcome to the Flask website. So it is showing the output in real time. So this is how we can render a HTML template using the render template function that is available in Flask. So this is how we can do that. So now let's try to open our browser and let's try to add some code that will be bootstrap. So let me just search for bootstrap. So bootstrap is used for creating some website. So there is some pre-written code available over here that we can use. So using bootstrap, we can create a powerful responsive website. So there is some pre-written code that is available in here and we can use that. So let me just try to find out how we can use this. So let me just try to search for a nav bar. Okay, so you can see here is some code that we got from this Bootstrap website for creating a nav bar. So let me just try to find out which will be best for us. So I think this one should work. So I will just copy this code from here. We will just try to minimize this thing. We'll go inside our index.html file, and over here we'll just try to close this, and we're going to be adding our code that we have copied from there inside our HTML file. And if we just try to save this code, and if we go back to our server, and if we try to refresh the page, now you can see here is the nav bar which is created over here. So I think we are missing out something. So let's go back to our bootstrap and let me try to find out how we can import this particular thing in our code. So I think for CDN, we just need to copy this particular piece of code from here. And I think we are good to go. So we just need to paste this in our head. And if we save this code, we go back to our website. And if we refresh the page, okay, we are not getting any output. So let me So from here, we're going to be copying this piece of code, and we will go back inside our code editor. We'll just copy all this thing, paste it in here, and inside the body, I'm going to be adding some more piece of code. So right here, I'm going to be making some changes. We're going to be adding this particular thing. If we save the code and we go back to our server, if we refresh this server, now you can see the things are being updated, and we have our nav bar over here, which is showing up right here. And if we just try to minimize this thing, so basically what we did is we just clicked on this particular introduction, and we have copied this second code from here for adding the CDN links to our bootstrap code. And after adding that, we have only added the nav bar by searching here. So we just search for nav bar, and if we hit enter, you can see here is a nav bar. So we can add a navigation bar using this piece of code. So I think we can just search for a different nav bar from here. So let me just find out a better version of that nav bar. So I think this one should work out. So we'll just copy this code. We are going to be replacing this thing with that particular code that we have copied from there. And if we save the changes, and if we go back and refresh the page, now you can see we are also getting the search icon as well. So now what we can do is we can just try to comment out this part, and we go back, refresh our server. So you can see here is the nav bar, home link, and some other links as well that are available over here. So we can just make some changes. So we can name it as Flask website. After that, we want a button for homepage, which will bring us to slash. After that, we have some more options over here. So what I want to do is I want to just remove some of these from here. So I will just remove this part that is not required for us. So I don't want this particular part. I just want to remove this. So we can just remove that, and we can just save this code, go back to our server, try to refresh it, and you can see here is the updated output that we get. So this search bar has been replaced. So for that, we can add some changes over here. So disable, okay. This thing. Okay, so we just need to remove this part. We just need to save it. And if we just try to refresh our page, now you can see we are getting the appropriate output that we wanted. So I don't even want this thing to be here. We just remove this, and we just want two buttons over here. So the first one will be the home button that will redirect us to the page itself, and we have a link button as well. So I want to redirect this link button to something else. So I will just open our app.py, and we are going to be redirecting to welcome app from here. So in HTML file, we just need to make some changes. So where is the link? So inside this link, we are going to be doing something like this. And if we save this code, try to go to our Flask server. If we refresh it, now if I click on this, you can see welcome. And if we just type some name over here, if I add Adam, and if we hit enter, so it will show us welcome. So if I want to add him over here itself, so in our HTML file, we have added the name of the person. So if we go back, if we save our file and click on link, okay, it is showing up some error. So let me just go back, try to refresh the page, click on the link. Now you can see we are redirected to this particular URL using our HTML code that we have added, and it is able to render this particular template from the Bootstrap website itself. So we can add multiple components from this Bootstrap website that we have just seen. So here there are different components that are available that we can use to create a particular website very easily. So we don't need to write entire code in HTML and CSS. So it will make our task easy to create a particular website using the Bootstrap. So we're going to be using this Bootstrap to create multiple websites such as the To-Do List app. So I think that was it for this lesson, in which we have seen how we can use the Bootstrap and we can render the templates using the Flask and the render template function. So that was it for this particular lesson. Let's move to the next lesson of our course. Hello there. In this particular video, we are going to be creating a new application using the Flask. So basically, we are going to be creating a to-do list app using which we can create different to-do lists, and we can also do the CRUD operation on that. So basically, we can create a to-do list, we can update it, delete it, and do different operations on that particular thing. So let's get started with it. So right here, we have our previous app that we have created, and inside our HTML file, we have this particular code that we have written previously. So for that, first of all, we need to open our browser and we will just search for Bootstrap. And over here, we will just open this first website and we will just try to click on get started over here. And we're going to be creating a form first to take the input from the user. That will be the title of that to do and also description of that to do list. So for that, we will just hover over this forms and we will click on the overview from this forms, and we will just copy this first form that we have for getting the email address and password, and we are going to be making some changes into it. So if we just go back to our index.html file, after this you can see we have a search box. Here is our nav bar. After the nav bar, we are going to be pasting this particular piece of code. We will save the code, and if we just try to run our server, so if I just try to open this website, so over here you can see there is the output that we get. It has added this particular form inside our HTML file. So you can see we also need to change the title, and we want this thing inside a container, so it is taking the entire page. We want this to be inside a container. So for that, what we can do is can just make some changes in here. So I'll just close this terminal, and I'm first of all going to be replacing the title to do list app, and after that we are going to be making some changes inside this particular thing. So over here you can see div class. So for this thing we are going to be adding some changes into this form. So first of all, we are going to be creating another div. So I will add a div container class container my-3. So it will create a container. Inside that we are going to be having this particular uh, code for this form, and we're going to be closing this form after we are submitting this form. So we'll just close this div, and after that if we save the code and try to go inside our server, refresh the page, so now you can see it is now inside a container and we are getting a proper format in the output. So I think we have removed the checkbox. So why it is showing that over there? So there is a checkbox. I just need to remove this particular thing from here, and we will go back, just refresh the page. Now you can see this thing is being removed. After that, we are going to be changing some things over here. So we are going to be adding to do title, and over here we are going to be replacing it to text. So the type of the input will be text. This is also going to be text, and okay, we want this thing to say, add the title for the to-do list, and after that we are going to be also changing this password field, so it is going to be to-do description, and we're going to be setting it to text. Type will be also text. ID will be description. DEC. DESC will be its ID, and we are also going to be changing this ID to title. After that, we will just try to save this thing, and if we go back into our browser and refresh this page, now you can see here is the updated things that we have added. So we have to do title, add the title for the to-do list, and we have to-do list description, and whenever we add some data to it, so it will submit the data to our app, and after that it will save it. So right now we have not added that particular functionality, but now we are just working on the front end of our website. So once we are done with this, we are going to be also adding a table over here. So I will just open the browser, and in here we are going to be searching for table. So in the search we will type table, we'll hit enter, and it should give us this output for a table. So this is how a table is being created. So this is the code that we can use to create a table. So we will just minimize this, and inside another container we are going to be adding that thing. So we'll create a div class container my-3, and inside this we're going to be pasting this particular code that we have copied to add a table. And if we just go back into our to-do list app, we refresh this, so you can see here is the output that we get. So right here we have some name and things like that. We don't want that. Instead of that, we are going to be replacing this rows to something else. So this will be the serial number of our to-do list, or the to-do task that we have. This will be the title. The third column will be the description, and the last one will be the time at which we have added that particular task in our to-do list. So we are going to be adding all these things in that. So after that, we have some random data in here. So if we just try to save this, we open our browser, refresh this thing. So now you can see we have the serial number, title, description, and time. So I will just minimize this thing, and I think we should remove this raw data from here, or we will handle this data later on. So after that, I think we are done with our front end of our website. So we just want to add the title for this to-do list, and we are also going to be adding the description, and after that clicking on submit, it should add it into our to-do list, and we are going to be getting this data at the first serial number that we have added over here. It should also tell us the time, title, and description. So once we are done with that, we're going to be creating a database in which we're going to be storing our to-do list, title, description, and time, and things like that. So for creating a database in Flask, we need to use a package named SQL Alchemy. So for that, we're going to be searching Flask SQL Alchemy on the browser, and we will get this first result that says Flask SQL Alchemy. And if we click on it, you can see that it helps us to map the data that is relational data with so basically the Flask SQL Alchemy will help us to map the data which is relational data with each other. and it will find out the patterns and objects. So basically it's going to be creating a database for us, which is going to be a relational database. So after coming to this page, we will click on quick start, and to get started with it, we just need to provide this command to install it onto our system. So we will just copy this command on our VS Code, and we are going to be just pasting this command, and you can see that we have already inside our virtual env, so it will automatically install it inside our virtual env. We will hit enter, so it will start downloading it onto our system, and it will be installing it inside our virtual environment. So once we are done with this, we will just close this, and we're going to be importing it. So we will do from Flask SQL Alchemy import SQL Alchemy, and after that we will just go back to the browser, and over here we can see how we can create a database. So we need to configure the SQLite database relative to the app instance folder. So here is how we can create a SQLite database. So there are different types of database that we can create. So right now we are going to be creating a SQLite database. So for that, I will just copy this particular command from here, and we're going to be adding that inside our app. So after the Flask app is created, we're going to be pasting this particular command over here, and after that we are going to be doing db equals to SQL Alchemy, and inside that we're going to be passing the app. So using this command, it will create a SQLite database for us. So we are going to be naming the database as todo.db, and after that we are going to be adding the fields that we want to add inside this database. So basically we have just created the database, but there are no fields in it. So we want to add around 4 fields inside our database. The first one will be to do title, to do description. After that we are also going to be adding the serial number and a timestamp at which we have added this particular to do task. So we will go back here, and we're going to be creating a class over here. So we will do class, that will be to do, and inside that we're going to be doing db dot model. So this is the format to create a table inside this SQLite database. So basically we are going to be creating this different fields in this. So first one will be serial number. So the first field will be serial number. We will do db dot column, and inside that we're going to be doing db dot integer. So we are going to be providing which type of data we are going to be adding inside that. So basically the serial number will be in the form of integer. So we will type here integer. We will add a comma, and we are going to be setting it to as primary key. Primary underscore key is equals to true. And after that, we are going to be just copying this particular thing from here. We are going to be adding it 4 times around, and we are going to be just changing the name. So the second one will be title, and db dot column, db dot it's going to be a string. So we will just set it to string, and we are going to be giving it around 200 characters. So we can create a string of 200 characters. For adding the title, we are going to be removing the primary key from here. So we will do, instead of that, nullable equals false. So this field cannot be null or empty. So we are going to be hitting it nullable false. So I will just copy this, and I will paste the same thing inside here, and the string part also we want it inside the description. So description will be also in the form of string, and we are going to be setting the description to 500 characters. So we can add a description up to 500 characters, and we will rename this to DESC, and the last one will be the time. So time will be, so for adding the time, I think we need to first of all import some module. So we just need to do. So we have to do from datetime import datetime. After that, we are going to be, so over here we're going to be changing it to db.datetime. And after that, we are going to be setting the default equals to datetime dot utc now. So it will get the current date, time, and it will store it inside this field, which is the time field. After that, we are going to be creating another function over here. So we are going to be creating a function which is going to be repr. So we'll do underscore underscore repr. So we will just remove this thing from here. So using this function, we're going to be returning some data. So it is going to be, we're going to be using the formatting over here, and we are going to be returning the data that will be the serial number. So we'll do self dot serial number, and we are also going to be returning self dot title. So whenever we call this function, it is going to be returning this data, the serial number and the title of our to-do list. So basically now we are done with our database. So we have created this particular database that contains these fields such as serial number, title, description, and time. And we have used object-oriented programming to create this particular piece of code. So now let's say I want to create this particular database now. So for creating that, what we can do is, so over here if we type Python and if we hit enter, so after that it will open the Python interpreter inside this folder, and in here we will do from app import db, and if we hit enter, so okay, we are getting some error over here. So date time, okay, so I think date time, the T should be capital over here. So if we save this, if we try to run it again, now you can see it has imported that thing. So now if we do db dot create underscore all underscore all, and that's going to be a function, and if we add that thing, if we hit enter, so you can see we are getting this particular error. So let's try to find out an solution for this error. Okay, so to overcome the previous issue, what we can do is from app import db, and we are also going to be importing the app as well. So we will add a comma and add app over here, and we will hit enter. So it will import both the db as well as the app. After that, we are going to be providing a command that will be app underscore context dot push. So I will just add this command over here that says app underscore context dot push. That will resolve our error. So we will hit enter, and after that, if we run our command to create db dot create all, and if we hit enter, now the command should work correctly. And if we go over here, so you can see there is a folder name instance which contains the to do db. Now we have successfully created our database, but there is no data inside our database. So we are going to be adding some data into our database. So for that, what we will do is we will just close this, and we're going to be writing some piece of code to add the data into our database. So for adding some data into our database, what we're going to be doing is in our hello function, we are going to be writing some piece of code to add to do into our database that we have created over here. So you can see serial number, title, description, and time. So the time and the serial number are going to be given by default. So we just need to pass two data that will be title and description of our to do. So we are going to be creating a variable name to do that will be equals to, and we will do to do, which is this class that we have created for the database, and inside this we are going to be passing two data that will be the title. So we will do title, a title that will be equals to, and in here we will do first to do And we are going to be adding the second data, that will be the description, by adding a comma here, and we will do EESC, that will be the description of this to do, and we're going to be adding testing post to do. And after that, the next line, what we need to do is we need to create a session with our database. So for that, we will do db dot session dot add. So for adding new data, we need to call this function, that is add, and we just need to pass the to do inside this that we have created over here. We are passing this particular variable, and after that, we need to do db dot session dot commit. So it will make the changes in the database, and it will commit the changes that we have added over here. So after this, we just need to save this code, and we just need to run our web server. And after running the web server, we will just open our website, and in the output screen, you can see there is an error that we are getting. It says no such table, that is to do. Insert into to do time variable. Okay, testing time is given. Okay, it is showing that there is no such table. So we have already created a table over here. As far as I can see, there is a table name to do. Okay, so to solve that particular error, what I did is I stopped my server from running, and I just refreshed the page. And after stopping the server and refreshing the page, now this is the output that we get. Now our web app is visible, and there are no errors over here. So after that, if we just go inside our folder, so if we just try to find over here, you can see inside our folder we have a to do database that is it has created inside a instance folder. So here is the database that it has created, and what we can do is we can just try to see the data that it has stored inside this database by just searching for SQLite viewer. And after that, we will get this first result. We'll just click on this, and we are going to be dragging our database and dropping it over here, and you can see here is the data that it has collected from our database. Okay, so you can see here is the data that it has generated for us. So if we just refresh the page more times, so it will add more data into our database. If we go back, go in here, and if we add the database, now you can see it has added these many fields into our database now. So this is how we can just check what data is available into our SQL database. Now after that, we will just close this thing from here, and we are going to be going back, and you can see here is how our app is running right now. So I will just close this thing from here, and we're going to be now trying to add the data into our to-do list app by just sending it through our HTML code that we have written. So we are going to be using these two fields to take the data, and after clicking on submit, it should show the data over here. So let's try to add that now. So the data that it is showing on the SQLite table is from here that we have added. The data is to do and the list app. So we have added this data over here, and it is fetching it and showing it into our database. Okay, so after that, we will just try to use our REPR function and try to fetch the data from our database using our website. So for that, what we can do is we can just replace this thing to show, and after that, in here we're going to be adding few lines of code to display the data into our terminal. So for that, what we can do is instead of this, we will start to add something. This is to return the data from database, and after that we will just remove this thing, and we are going to be replacing this name of the function to show, and we are going to be adding few lines of code over here. So we will do all to do that will be equals to do dot query dot all, and after that we are going to be printing out this particular data that is stored inside this variable, that is all to do. So after adding this, if we save our code and if we try to uh, go to our website, and over here if I add slash show and if we hit enter, so let's see what output we are getting. To do dot query dot all. Okay, it is showing that to do has no attribute query. Okay, I have misspelled query over here. So if I just correct the spelling of query over here, and if we go back and try to refresh the page, now you can see it is returning. This is to return the data from the database, and you can see the data over here inside this terminal that we have opened, and it is returning the data, and it is returning it in the format that we have added over here in this function. So you can see it is returning the serial number as well as the data or the title that it contains. So this is the data that we get as an output. So after that, we will just try to fetch the data of this to do and try to show it in this table. So for that, what we can do is we can just come over here and we'll just close this thing, and we're going to be copying this command that is to show all the data or the query, and we will add it over here. And after that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be returning this to do as well inside our index.html file. So we will just do all to do, and we are going to be returning this to our HTML file. After that, what we are going to be doing is inside our HTML file, we will just try to edit some data over here. So let me just try to find out where is this thing. So we are going to be removing this part. That will be the random data that it has generated. So I will just remove this part from here. And over here, we are going to be using Jinja templating. So for that, what I will do is, first of all, we will just try to save this and try to see what is the current output. Okay, so it is printing out the first row. So here we are going to be making some changes. So first of all, we are going to be using the Jinja templating. So I will just add this format over here, and we are going to be first of all running a for loop. Instead of this, we are going to be running a for loop over here. We are going to be adding double percentage, and in here we will do for to do in or to do. So let's check. We are passing this variable, and we are just going through this variable which is all to do, and we are checking for each and every value. The first one will be the to do dot title. We are going to be adding double quotes, and in here we will do to do dot title, and the second value will be to do dot tesc. So that are going to be adding time as well. So we will do to do dot, and we will just check what is the name, and it is time. So we will add time, and after adding this, we are going to be ending our for as well. So I think we have this extra er over here, and we are going to be closing the for over here in this line. So to do double percentage, and in here we'll do and for. So this is the basically the format for Jinja templating, and we have using the Jinja templating engine to like fetch the data from our app and display it onto our website. So after this, if we save the code and if we go to our website and if we just try to refresh it, so we should see some data. Okay, it is not displaying anything. Let me just check if there is any issue with this thing. Okay, see what is the issue over here. So it is all to do, we are passing it over here. Okay, so over here we just need to do all to do is equals to all to do. And after adding this, we go to our website. Now if we refresh this, so you can see here is the data that we are getting, and over here you can see that the serial number, to do, title, description and time is also being displayed, and we are getting the appropriate output as we wanted. So here is the output that we are getting. Once we are done with this, we will just try to go back and we are going to be getting into a file. Right now you can see that the serial number is 1 for all these to do items, so we can just change it by just adding to do dot serial number, and after adding this we will just save the code. We go back to our server, we will refresh it and it should display the numbers. Okay, let me just check what is okay, SNO. And if we save the code, now if we go back, refresh the page, now you can see the numbers are in sequence now, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and up to 20. Okay, so we are done with our displaying of the items that we have added into our to-do list app. So we are able to like add items into our to-do list and also display them. So we have completed the two main features of third operation. So we are able to create and also we are able to fetch the data from our database. So now let's try to add some more functionality into it. Okay, so also there is an issue that if we delete any of the data from here, so we are also going to be adding the update and delete functionality. So after adding that, if we delete a particular data from index, so it will disturb the sequence of the serial number. So this is coming from our database. So if we delete the item at the fourth index, so it will look like 1 2 3 and 5. So to overcome this, what we can do is we can replace this to do to, instead of serial number, we're going to be passing the index of the for loop. So it will be returning the data into a sequence. So the series will be not disturbed. So if we just try to refresh this, okay, we are not getting any output. Let me just check. Okay, so it should be loop index instead of to do, be loop index. And if we save the code now, if we just go back and try to refresh the page, now you can see this is giving us the proper output. So if we now delete the fifth index item, so in that case also it will just show us the serial number in proper order. So now after adding that, we are going to be just trying to make our form working and take the input from the user through the form. So let's try adding that. Okay, so in our form, we are going to be just adding some data over here. So first of all, we need to pass the name for this input fields. So we are taking an input. The ID is title, as well as we just need to pass the name that will be also equals to title. And we just need to do the same for the description as well. So we just need to pass the name and it will be EESC. And after adding this, what we can do is we can just add a few lines of code over here. So we just need to add an action in the form and it will be slash, and we also need to add the method that will be post. After this, we also need to make some changes into our app. So in our app, what we need to do is we just need to go over here where we have our into our default route, and we just need to add a comma over here, and we will do method, and we are going to be allowing two methods that will be equals to the methods. The first one will be get in capital and also the post method. After adding these two things, it will be in single quotes. Okay. After adding this, what we can do is we can just check if request. Okay, we have not imported, I think, request. So we also need to add a comma over here, and we can import request, which is available in Flask itself, and we are good to go using this request. So we will do request dot method is equals to post. In that case, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be reading out that it is working. And we just try to save this thing, and if we go to our server, try to refresh this thing, and if we add some data and click on submit, so let's see if we are getting any output. So in the output you can see that it is printing out that it is working. So now we can also fetch the title as well as description from here. So if we do something like request dot form, and we're going to be fetching the title from here. So what we can do is we can just add brackets over here, and in single quotes we'll do title. And if we save this, and if we go to our website, if we add something, and if we click on submit, so let's see if we are getting the data. So you can see here is the data that we have added into our form, and we are able to fetch that data using this piece of code. So similarly, you can also try to print out the description as well. So I do DESC. We save the code. Now if we go back, add some random data, and if we submit, so over here you can see both the data are being returned to our code over here, and we are able to fetch that data. So now we are able to fetch the title as well as description, and we are able to pass it into our backend. So after that, we can do one thing is that we just need to remove this print from here, and we are going to be storing this data inside a variable that we are going to be naming as to do title underscore title, that will be equals to request dot form dot title, and we are going to be naming the second variable as desc underscore to do, that will be equals to request dot form dot desc. After that, what we can do is we can just write the code to fetch the data. Also, we are going to be data, that will be equals to do, and in here we're going to be providing the title for the to do, that will be equals to do title, and the second one will be desc desc, that will be equals to desc desc underscore to do. So we are now passing these two data into a variable that is data, and we are going to be storing it inside our database. So we will do db.session.add, and we're going to be passing the data inside this, and the second line we're going to be doing db.session.commit. So after this, it will be able to fetch the data from our form and store it inside our database. And you can see we are also displaying the data. So once we are done with this, we will just try to save the code, and we will go into our app, and if we just try to refresh the page, so you will be able to see that right now there is data inside our to-do list app which contains all this data. So let me just try to do first to do create Flask app, and if we just try to submit it, now if we scroll down, you can see that here is the data that it has added into a to-do list with first to do as the title. There is the serial number as 21, the description as well to create the Flask app, and the time span is also being saved inside our database. So now you can see here is the data output that we get, and here is how we can add a number of to do tasks. So we'll do second to do task, write a Python code for addition of two numbers. we just need to do this, and if we submit it, now you can see here is the to do task that it has stored inside our database, and we are able to see the data in real time, and we are now able to submit the data through our submission form that we have created over here, and we are successfully able to add the data inside our database and also fetch the data from our database. Now after that, we are going to be adding a functionality to update the data as well as delete the data from our database. So let's move forward and try to add these two functionalities now. Okay, so after this, we are going to be adding two buttons over here. So the first one will be to update this table, and the second one will be to delete the to-do task. So for that, we are going to be opening the Bootstrap website. So do Bootstrap, and that we will click on get started. Over here, we will just try to find buttons. So here we will just click on buttons, and over here we can just copy any of the button from here. So I want the button to be this one. So we'll just copy this, and we are going to be going in our VS Code, and we're going to be adding the buttons over here. So what we will do is we will scroll down in our HTML file, and we'll just find out where we are just finding out the outputs, and in here we're going to be creating another PD, and going to be closing this, and we're going to be creating a button in here. Just try to paste this thing over here, and we are going to be naming this button as to date, and similarly we want another button that will be to delete. After that, we will just save the code. We'll go back into our website, try to refresh this, and you guys can see here is the button for update as well as delete. So now we have added these buttons. We just need to add the functionalities as well to these buttons. So after this, what we can do is we also can change the color for these buttons as well. So for delete, let's add this thing over here. So I will just try to copy this, and we are going to be just changing this class from here to danger, and similarly we will just copy the success one for updating our data. So I will just try to add it right here, and if we save the code, we go back over here. If we refresh the page, now you can see the update button is in showing green and delete button is red. So the user will now understand that if we click on update, it will update the data as well as it will show a danger on the delete button. So after adding this, what we can do is we can just change this thing. So what I will do is I will add a tag over here, and we will do href, and we are going to be doing update for this one slash, and we are going to be passing the serial number with this. So the serial number will be todo dot sno, and similarly we are going to be doing the same with the delete as well, and we're going to be calling a function that will be delete. So do delete. So after this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating some endpoints for this in our app. So over here, what we will do is we'll just we don't want the show, so we're going to be replacing it with delete. First, we will add the delete functionality over here. So delete, delete. So that we're going to be writing some piece of code in here. So after this, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be adding another slash over here, and we are going to be getting an integer value from our front end or our database that will be the serial number of this to-do list. So we are just going to be passing the integer value of it as well, and we're going to be passing it in here. We will do SNO inside this delete function, and after that, what we will do is we'll just try to remove this all from here. We will do to do equals to do dot query dot all. Instead of all, we are going to be doing here filter by underscore by, and inside this bracket we are going to be providing serial number that will be equals to serial number, and we will do dot first, and this will be also a function call. So over here you can see we are creating a to do that will be equals to do dot query dot filter by, and we are passing the serial number that we are getting from our front end. So we are just clicking on this delete button, and it will also return the serial number of that particular to-do list item. And after sending this serial number, we are just trying to delete it, which will be the first item inside that serial number. So after this, we just need to write db dot session dot delete, and we are just going to be passing to do, and after that we are going to be doing db dot session dot commit. So it will make the changes. After this, if we just try to save the code and we go to our website and try to refresh the page, now if I click on delete, so let's see it is working or not. Okay, I think it's not working for some reason. We'll just try to refresh the page again. We click on delete. Okay, not working at all. Let me just try to see what is the issue over here. Okay, so I forgot to remove this button from here, so I just need to remove this. And if we just try to save the code again, and if we go to our server, try to refresh the page now, and if we click on this delete now, so okay, it is showing this is to return the data from database. Now I think it is able to delete this data, so I think we have now 27 data. If we just click on delete, we go back, what is the output right now? If we refresh the page, now you can see the items are being deleted from our database. So if I just delete few more items, so I just click on data, delete button, and if we just try to refresh the page now, so you will be able to see that it is able to delete the data from our database, and now we have only 22 items. Previously we were having 27 items. So we are successfully able to delete the data from our database with the help of this delete function. So I think sometimes it is not working, so we will try to solve that part as well. So let me just try to delete all these random data that we have added. If we just try to refresh this page now, so you can see we only have 16 data now, and we'll just try to delete all the data. And if we refresh the page, now you can see we have only this much data available. And if we refresh the page now, okay, so you can see here is the output that we are getting. But you can see while we are deleting this, we are getting on this another page that we don't want to redirect the user. We want it to like refresh the page, which is the app page, and show us the output in real time. So for that, what we can do is we can just import another library from Flask that is called redirect. We'll do redirect, and over here, what we will do is we will just try to remove this thing from here, and we're going to be calling the redirect function, and inside this we're going to be redirecting the user to the slash, and after this we just go back, try to refresh the page, and now if I just click on delete, so you can see it is deleting the data in real time, and we are also getting the output in real time as well. So this is how we can get the data, and now right now you can see there are no data inside our to-do list app. And if we just try to add some data over here, so if I just do some random data, and if we just hit on submit, you can see here is the output that we get. So we can just click on delete, and it will remove this item. But if there is no data inside our to-do list app, in that case we just want to show the user message that there is no data inside our to-do list app. So for adding that, what we can do is we can just make some changes into our HTML file. So here are going to be, so right here what we will do is we will add an if condition inside this. So For that we will do double percentage symbol, and we are going to be doing if all to do. We are going to be adding the pipe symbol, and we're going to be providing the length. After this we will do double equals to 0. In that case we are going to be printing no to do tasks, and we are going to be adding an else as well for this if and else statement. After that we're going to be ending this, so we just need to add double percentage symbol and if, and also we just need to make some changes over here. So just try to select this part and we'll bring it over here. After the submit button we just try to save the code now, and we go back into our to-do list app. If we refresh this, so you can see no to-do task. Okay, what is the issue over here? It is also printing out the table as well, so we don't want the table, and we just need to add this thing. After this we now save the code and go back, refresh the page. Now you can see no to do task. We will just try to add it in proper format. We are just going to be moving this thing inside this container, and if we save the code now and if we go back and if we just try to refresh this thing, now you can see no to do task, and we can also add e tag over here, your to do's. And if we save this thing and if we go back, if we just try to refresh the page, so right now you can see there are no to do tasks, and if I add some to do task over here, so it should remove this no to do task from here. So your to do's are this. So if I just click on delete, so it will again show us the no to do's task available. So we are now able to show the user a proper output that shows that if there is no to do's, and it will display no to do task, and if there is any to do task in the table, then only it will show us the table in the output. Okay, so on our website you can see that there is no gap in between these two buttons that we have added for update and delete. So we just need to make a small change over here in our code to add some space in between. So right here we have the code for the button, and we have added the required details over here. So after this we are going to be adding a space, and we will do button btn hyphen sm, and we are going to be giving it mx, that will be 1, and similarly we will do the same for the delete button as well. So we'll just add this thing, we'll just save the code. If we go back to our website, we refresh our page, so you will be able to see that now there is a small space in between these two buttons, as well as buttons are looking far better than the previous ones. So we will just delete this data from here, and now you can see there is no to do list or to do task inside our to do list app. After that, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be creating another page for updating our data. So right here you can see that if we want to add some data, so I add some random data, and after that if I click on update, so you can see there is no URL available over here. So we need to create a function or a route for that as well to update. So whenever we click on this update, it should open a new page and give us the title for this data as well as the description. So we will be able to update the title as well as the description of this particular to do. So we are going to be redirecting to the user on a new page where we are going to be doing the modification. So for this, first of all, we need to create a new page. So the navigation bar on our website will be common for all the pages on our website. For this, what we can do is we can do template inheritance, and we can create a base template from which we can inherit the properties or the code. So for that, what we can do is we can just create another template over here, and you can use the Ginger templating for this. So inside this folder, which is the templates, we're going to be creating a new file, and we're going to be naming it as base base dot html, and in here we're going to be writing some code that will be the navbar code. So let me just try to find out the code for the navbar. After this, what we're going to be doing is inside the base.html file, we're going to be copying the common code that we are going to be adding. So right here, you can see the header, the entire header part. We are going to be adding it inside this file. So what I need to do is we are going to be copying this entire head from here, or we are going to be removing it from this file, which is the index.html, and we have the body as well. So we are going to be copying the header of our website from here. So the header is right here. So this is the code for the header, and it's still here. So I will just try to remove this from here, and so that we are going to be getting inside our base.html, and inside that we are going to be adding this part. So this we also need to take the body as well. So we're going to be removing the body, adding it over here, and we are going to be closing the body at the last. Over here, we're going to be closing the body. After this, we are going to be adding a block over here. So over here, we're going to be using the gender templating. So we'll add double percentage, and in here, we're going to be creating a block. So we'll do block, and the name of the block will be body. And after that, we are going to be closing this block as well. So I will just copy this and do end block. So this we are going to be adding a small bit of space in here, and after this we're going to be just copying this thing, and we are also going to be adding it in our index.html file. So we are going to be just removing this from here, the end of this body, and we're going to be adding it right here. So we are just going to be removing this part from here, and we're going to be adding it here instead. And I think we are missing out some things over here that will be closing the nav bar. Okay, nav. I think we just need to add the nav over here, body after that, and at last we're going to be adding slash html, and we are good to go. And over here we have added this particular piece of code to display this form as well as the table. So this is the current output that we have, or the code we have, and we have added this entire container inside the block body, and we have added the end block as well at the last. And similarly we have done the same over here, but we have added the nav bar in our base.html, because the nav bar will be common for all the pages on our website. So this we're going to be adding a piece of line over here that will help us to extend from the base.html. So over here we are going to be using the ginger templating again. We're going to be extending. We will do extend. We're going to be adding single quotes. We'll do base dot html. After this, we are going to be adding a small space over here. If we save our code, and now if we try to visit our website, and if we just try to refresh it, so after this, if we just try to refresh our page, we will get this output. So over here you can see that it is taking the input from the base.html. So the header is coming from our base.html, which is this one, and we are just changing the data which is inside the body, which is the submission form as well as the table. So we are just adding these two things over there. And after this, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be creating another page for updating the to-do list description as well as the title. So for this, we are going to be creating a new file, and we're going to be naming it update.html, and we will hit enter, and we are going to be just copying the code from here that we just want to change. So we only want the code that is for the form. So we're going to be just copying this part which is for the form, and we are going to be doing this entire thing, copying it, pasting it over here. And you can see we are extending the base.html. We have added the block body, and we're going to be just closing the block as well. So if we just add an end block over here, and after that we're going to be just changing few things over here. That will be the submit button. Instead of submit, we're going to be naming it as update, and after that we are going to be keeping other things to the default, and we are just going to be adding a header as page update, page, and after that we're going to be just saving this piece of code. After that, we can also change the name of the page as well. So for changing the title of the page, so over here, if I just go to our website and show you the title, so the title is To Do List App over here. So what we can do is we can even change the title. So we just need to go to the base.html, and over here where we have this title, we're going to be making a change. So what we can do is we can just add a Jinja templating over here. So what I will do is just to percentage, double percentage, and here I will do block title, and we're going to be using the same format, and we're going to be closing the block as well. So we are going to be closing the block, and I will add a slash over here, and inside this we are going to be doing end block. I will add a space over here, and I will just try to copy this. So after this, what we are doing is basically we are assigning the name of the page. So we are doing to do list app, and in front of this we are going to be adding the name of the page. So in the index.html we are going to be doing block title and block title, and in here we're going to be providing the name of the page, that will be home for this one. And for this we are going to be saving this, and also we're going to be adding the name of the page over here as well. So we're going to be naming it as update. If I just try to refresh, okay, it's not working, I think. So what I will do is, instead of this, I'll just try to remove this title from here, and similarly we'll make changes in all the blocks in here as well. I will just try to remove this title. We just try to save it. Now if we go back, try to refresh the page, now we can see we are getting the appropriate output as home to do list app. Now this thing is working, so I have just removed the title from the end block, so we are directly ending this block over here, and we are able to replace the data or the title of the page with the help of this block that we have created. So I think you got a clear idea of how you can add different names to this pages. So once we are done with this, we are going to be moving into our app.py and creating the route for updating the data, and we're going to be using the update.html page to update the data. So for creating a route, what I will do is I will just try to copy this thing from here, and we're going to be creating another function, and this will be the update function. So in the update as well, we're going to be passing serial number of the data, and I will just name this as update. After this, we are going to be doing to do equals to do dot query dot filter by serial number is equals to first. So we are just going to be copying this entire line from here, and we're going to be doing return a render template, and we're going to be rendering the template which is the update.html. So we'll provide update.html, and we're going to be separating it with a comma, and we will do to do is equals to do. And once we are done with this, we will go inside our update.html. We can just save the code, and if we go to our website, and if we just try to refresh the page, add some random data, and if we submit it, you can see we are getting the output. If I just click on update, now it will take us to the update page. You can see here is the update page that it has redirected us to. So now you can see it is not looking good at all, this update page. So we will just try to change the header first. So what I will do is I will just try to minimize this thing, and inside our update.html page, adding this thing inside the container, as well as we're going to be setting it to h2. And if we save the code and go back to our website, and after that, if we just try to refresh this page, now you can see it is looking far better than the previous one. And similarly, we're going to be adding another tag like this. So we'll be adding it over here. Here we do to do list. If I just try to save the code, and if we go back to the website, we go here. If we just try to refresh this, now you can see to do list. So it is looking far better. Now if I just click on the update, and you can see here is the data. So if we add something, so it is being added over here. But instead of this, what we want to do is we want to update the data that is already present over here. So I want to update this data that we have added over here. So if I click on update, so it should fetch the data directly and add it over here, and we can update it, and automatically it will just make changes to that instead of adding a new data. So for that, what we can do is, it's quite simple to add that. So in our VS Code, we will just go over here, and in our update page, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be also providing a value over here. So we have this name, and inside our title, we're going to be providing the value. So we're going to be doing value. Value will be equals to, we're going to be using the Jinja templating. So we will just add this kind of brackets, and inside this, we're going to be doing to do dot title. And similarly, we're going to be adding for the description as well. I will do DESC. And after adding this, if we just try to save the code, go back to our website, if we just try to refresh it, and if I add a to do, that will be first, I will do a spelling mistake over here. First to do, create a Flask app, and I will add some data. And if we hit enter, so you can see, so here is the to do that it has created for us. I will just delete the previous one, and you can see we have a title with first to do, and the spelling is wrong over here, and the description contains create Flask app 23. So I want to just update this data. If I just click on update, now you can see we are getting an option to update this data. So I will just try to correct the spelling over here, and I will just remove this 23. And after that, if we just click on update, now you can see that it has updated the data, but we have another output as well. Okay, so this error is coming because we have not completed our update function. So we just need to go back over here, and we need to complete our update function. We have only added this particular piece of code, but we also need to do an updation on our data. So for updating the data, what we need to do is we just need to add an if over here. So we will do if request dot method equals to post, and also we need to add this piece of code in here as well for the update. And after that, we are going to be performing some operation. So we are going to be performing the same operation that we have done over here, but we just need to make some changes. I will just copy this data from here, add it inside this if statement, and I will just try to format things. And over here we are passing the data, and after that we are just going to be copying this part, adding it over here. After that, in the next line, we will do data dot title is equals to do title. Just copy this, add it over here, and similarly, we'll do data dot DESC is equals to DESC to do. And after this, we will just try to save the code. And after that, what I need to do is we just need to do return redirect to the home page. So after this, if we just try to save the code, and if we go back to our website, And if I just try to refresh the page now, so okay, I will be just deleting this data and we will just try to click on update and we're going to be updating this data. So I will just add first and I will just remove 23 from here. And if I just click on update, so still it is creating a data. I just need to check. So to solve this issue, what we need to do is we just need to change this thing to update and we will add a slash and we're going to be passing the serial number over here. So we will do to do dot serial number SNO, and if I just try to save this and if we go back to our code, I just try to delete this one and if I just try to refresh the page, now if I just click on update, now we will just try to remove this data and I will just correct the spelling. If I just try to save this and click on update, now you can see it is updating the data in real time. So if you add something and if you forgot to add more description about it or you misspelled something, you can now update these things. So I will do to do for today, create a Flask app using VS Code. I just click on update. Now you can see it is updating the data in real time. I will do create a website. Okay, I have misspelled something and I will do use Flask and I have misspelled both the things and we have added it into our to-do list. After this, what we can do is we can just click on update to create a website using Flask. So I just need to correct the spelling over here. It also correct the spelling for the Flask. And we can just click on update and now the things are updating in real time. We can also delete them and it will show no to-do tasks available. So this is how we can create a to-do list app. We have added different functionalities such as adding the title, description. We have also seen how to do different code operations such as create, update, delete, and we are successfully able to create this to-do list app. So I hope you really enjoyed this particular project of creating a to-do list app using Flask. So I think that was it for this lesson. Hello everyone, welcome back to the course. In this particular lesson, we are going to be creating a new project using Flask that will be a live CCTV footage. So basically, we are going to be live streaming the footage from our webcam that we have connected with our system. So using it, we can also access this footage of our CCTV or our webcam using our IP address. So I will be showing you that as well. So let's get started with it. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to create a new folder inside our Flask. So over here, we're going to be creating a folder named CCTV live, and in here inside this folder we are going to be creating app.py. Okay, I just need to add a dot in between here, so I will do app.py, and after that we will just try to create another folder that will be templates, and in here we're going to be creating another file that will be index.html, and that's it. So first of all, we will just try to write some code inside our app.py. So in here we're going to be first of all importing from Flask, import Flask. Also we're going to be importing two other modules that will be render template and response, and after that we're going to be importing the package that is OpenCV to get the footage from our webcam. So let's try to see if we have already installed it onto our system or not. So let me just try to open this terminal, and I think we just need to activate the virtual environment over here. So I will do cd flask env, and inside this we're going to be doing cd scripts and type here activate. Okay, I need to go into CMD and do activate.bat, and if we hit enter, now you can see we are inside our virtual env. So now we are going to be installing this package, which is going to be OpenCV. So we will do pip install OpenCV-Python, and if we hit enter, so it will start installing this OpenCV package, which is the Open Computer Vision package, onto our system. So it will take few minutes to install it. So let it get installed, and after that we're going to be starting with our code. So now it has successfully installed this package onto our system. We will just try to import it in our code. So we will do import cv2. So we just need to write the cv2 keyword to import the Open Computer Vision library. I will just try to close this panel from here, and after that we will do app equals to flask underscore name underscore. So that we're going to be creating a camera. So we'll do camera variable, and inside this variable we will set our camera. So we'll do cv2 dot video capture, and inside this we're going to be providing some value that will be 0. So if we have multiple webcam connected to our system, so in that case we can change this value to 1 or 2, so it will switch between different webcams that are connected in our system. So right now we only have one webcam connected, so we'll select the webcam at the 0th index. After that we are going to be creating a app route. So we'll do @app dot route, and inside that we're going to be adding slash, and we're going to be defining index. We'll do return render underscore template, and inside that we're going to be passing index.html. We also need to create a function using which we are going to be capturing the frames and we're going to be displaying on the website. So for that we're going to be creating a function. So I will name it as def cctv underscore live, and inside this function we are going to be doing while true. In that case we are going to be doing success, comma frame, that will be equals to camera dot read. So basically we are going to be reading the data or the images from our camera, and we are going to be storing it inside these variables. After that we'll do if not success, in that case we are going to be breaking out from this loop, and if it is true, in that case we will do an else, that will be ret comma buffer, that will be equals to cv2 dot im encode. So basically we are going to be encoding this buffer or the frames that we are getting from our camera into a jpg format that we can display on our website. So we will do dot jpg comma frames. So it will convert these frames into jpg format that we can easily display on our website. So after that we are going to be doing frame equals to buffer dot to bytes. So basically, if we are working with OpenCV, in that case, if we want to display it, in that case, we just need to pass the data into a bytes format. So that's why we need to add this piece of code over here. For that, we need to use a function that is yield. So we need to do yield, and in that, we need to do p, and we need to use a format something like this. So I will just try to add it in here instead of typing all the things. You can see, so this is the format that we need to use to display the live video onto our website. So this particular piece of code will refresh the frames every second, and using it we will get all the images in the form of a video live stream on our website. So once we are done with this, we will move forward and try to create another app route. So using this piece of code, it will be capturing the live video from our webcam, and after that we just need to display it onto our website. So for that we are going to be creating another app route, that will be app route, and we're going to be adding slash video. After that we are going to be creating a function def video, and inside this function we're going to be doing return response, and inside this response we are going to be calling our function that we have created, that will be CCTV underscore live, and it's a function call. We will add a comma in between, and we will do MIME type equals to, and inside this we're going to be passing some values. So I will just try to copy the multipath value. So I'll just copy this and add single quotes and paste this value inside this. So you can see this is a piece of code that we need to add to display the video onto a screen. So this is a multipath x mixed replace, and there is also a boundary frame. So let's try to go inside our index file and add some piece of code inside this. So what I will do is I'll just add some basic code over here, and in this we are going to be adding a header over here. So I will do h1, it will be CCTV live footage, and after that we are going to be creating a div. So I will do div, and inside this we are going to be displaying image. So for that I will do img and image, and the src will be equals to, we are going to be adding Jinja templating over here. So I will just do double curly braces, and in this we are going to be doing URL for, and there should be an underscore over here, URL for, and inside this we are going to be passing the video. And after that we are going to be setting the width for this video stream. So I will do width is equals to 50%, and after that we're going to be closing this image tag. And after that, if we just try to change this thing as well, so I will just change the title of our web page to this. And if we go back into our app, and I think we just need to add the main function call over here. So after this piece of code, we're going to be creating a main function to run our app. So I will do if underscore underscore name, double equals to in double quotes underscore underscore main underscore underscore, and inside this main function we will do app dot run, and we're going to be setting the debug to true. And after that, if we just check for if there is any error in our code, so let's check. I think everything is good to go. So if we just save our code and try to run it, I will just open our virtual env, or I will just try to see if we have already inside our virtual env. So we have already selected the virtual env interpreter. If we just try to run the code, so let's see what output we will get. So here is the server running. If we just click on this link, let's see if it opens the live stream for us or not. So you can see here is the output that we get. So if I add slash video, let's see the output. Okay, I think I have not connected my webcam, so just wait a second. I will just connect the webcam and we will try to see this output again. So if I just try to close this, and if we just try to stop the server, okay, so I have restarted the server. If you just click on the link and if you open the URL, so if we add a slash video over here, so if we click enter, so you can see here is the live footage, and the lighting conditions are not good at all. You won't be able to see me because there is a lot of light coming from the window. So I think you are able to see the output clearly. Okay, so that was it for this particular project on creating a live CCTV app using Flask. So I hope you are successfully able to create this live CCTV app using Python and Flask. So that was it for this particular video. So without further ado, let's move to the next lesson of our course. So in this lesson of our course, we are going to be creating a Flask app using which we can get memes from the Reddit pages. So for creating this, first of all, we need to create a new folder inside our Flask folder. So in here, we're going to be creating a folder name, meme app. So inside this meme app, we are going to be creating a app.py file, as well as we are going to be creating a folder named templates. So we already know what all things are required for creating a Flask app. So these are the requirements that we need to create first of all, and after that we also need an index.html page, and after that we will go inside our app.py file. So in here we're going to be writing the code to fetch the memes from the Reddit page. So basically there is a API that we can call to get the memes in the form of image, and we can display it on our website. So first of all we will do from Flask import Flask. After that we are going to be also importing in the template, we are going to be importing a module named JSON and another module named request. So I think request is not installed onto our system. So for installing it, we're going to be opening our terminal, and over here we're going to be doing cmd, we'll do cd flask, and we're going to be activating our virtual env. So over here we will do activate.bat. Now you can see we are inside our virtual env. Over here we're going to be trying to install this request module. So for installing it, we'll just copy this name and we will do pip install request. If we hit enter, so now you can see it is trying to install it onto our system, and it has successfully installed it. So once we are done with this, we'll just try to close this terminal and minimize it. After that I will just try to do a little bit zoom so you can see the entire code. So these are the packages that we have imported. So after that, we are going to be creating the app. So the app will be equals to Flask, and inside this we are going to be adding underscore underscore name underscore underscore. So this is how we can create an app. After that, we are going to be adding an app route. So we will do app dot route, and it will be slash. So on the slash route, we are going to be doing def index, that will be returning render template, and we are going to be returning index.html, html, and I think we need to add it in double quotes. So we forgot to add double quotes over here. So after this, it will render this template that we have created, which is HTML. So after this, we need to create a function to get the memes from our API. So for creating that, we need to just define a function. So we will do def get meme, get underscore meme, and inside this function, we are going to be passing few variables. The first one will be the URL. So we need to add a URL to get this meme. So for getting the meme, we have this particular API that we can use. So over here you can see this is the API from David, that is meme API, which can fetch the memes from Reddit. So this is the link that we can use to fetch the meme. So we'll just copy this particular link from here, and we're going to be adding this link in the URL. So in the double quotes, we will add this particular link over here. After that, in the next line, we'll do response, and inside this response variable, we are going to be doing JSON dot loads, and in here we're going to be providing some data, that will be request dot request, and in here we are going to be calling the get function. So do get in capital letters. After that, we will add a comma, URL, and after that, outside this bracket, we will do dot text. In the next line, we are going to be creating a variable named meme underscore large, that will be equals to response, and in here we're going to be doing preview, and that we need to add an index, that will be -2. At last, we need to do subreddit, that will be equals to response and the name of that subreddit. So basically, we are first of all getting the meme as well as the name of the subreddit where this meme is being published. So I will just copy this thing and add it over here. And we're going to be returning all these two values that we are getting. The first one will be meme large, and the second one will be the subreddit at which this meme has been published. And after that, inside this index function, we are going to be creating two different variables, that will be meme underscore pic comma subreddit. Just try to paste this, and we will do equals to get underscore meme. So basically, we are calling this function and we are assigning the values to these two variables. So whenever we call this get meme function, it will return the data, that will be meme large and the subreddit, which will be stored in these two variables. And we are going to be doing over here, we're going to be adding a comma, and we are going to be providing meme underscore pic, that will be equals to meme underscore pic, and also we are going to be adding a comma, and we are going to be providing subreddit, that will be equals to subreddit. So after adding this, our code is almost done. Inside the app.py, we need to go inside our index.html and we need to add some code over here to show the output to the user. So we are returning all these two values, that is the meme picture as well as the subreddit in the index.html. So we just need to display it over here. So we are going to be changing the title of our website, that will be meme website Flask. So this, inside our body, we are going to be creating an h1 tag. So I will do h1 close. Over here we will do a website to get memes using Flask. After this, we are going to be adding another line over here. So we will do a paragraph, and inside this we will do meme will refresh in 30 seconds. After that, in the next line, we will just display out our image. So I will just add a paragraph, and over here we will display the image. I will do image img src, that will be equals to, in double quotes, we are going to be providing the meme pic. So I will do meme underscore pic, meme underscore pic. After that, we are going to be also printing out the name of the subreddit at which this image was published. So for this, we will just try to remove this thing here, and instead of this, we will type here subreddit, and we are also going to be removing this double quotes from here. Do current subreddit, and we're going to be adding a colon, and we're going to be displaying this value to the user. So I think we are done with this particular piece of code. And if we just try to save this and we go into our app, and if we just try to add the main function over here, so if I just try to do if underscore name underscore double equals to underscore main underscore, and inside this main function we will do app dot run, and we will do debug equals true. And once we are done with this, if we save the code and try to run it, so you can see here is the web server running. So if we just click on this web server, so it should open our website, and you can see the output over here. So here is the output that we get, and here is a meme that we got using our API. And you can see a website to get memes using Flask, and you can see all the details over here. Here is the meme that we got in the output, and it is also giving us the current subreddit, that is memes. So this is the output we get whenever we try to run the code using this piece of meme website. So if we just try to refresh the page, in that case you can see the meme has changed automatically to a different one. Now the meme is different, and it is getting the memes from this subreddit, which is memes. So if I refresh the page again, you can see the memes are changing again and again. So I can refresh the page n number of times, and it will give us new memes every time. So this is how we can create a meme website using Flask, and using this particular API that we have added over here. So this is the API that we can use, which is memeapi.com, and we can add /gimme. Also, you can refer this entire documentation that is available over here on this GitHub page. So you just need to search for meme underscore API, which is from David. So if you just do meme hyphen API, and if you hit enter, so you will get this first result that will be David meme underscore API. So you can just go here and go through it, and you will get all the details required for getting the output from this API. So here are further details related to it. So right now we have this app using which we can get memes. So if we just try to refresh the page again, now you can see we are getting some new meme. So this is only available on our local system, and you can see that it is only accessible through this URL that we have on our local system. But in the next video, we are going to be trying to deploy it on Heroku itself, and we will be able to access it from the internet as well. So we are going to be deploying this website that we have created, that is our meme website, onto Heroku for absolutely free of cost, and we will be able to access it from anywhere in the world with the help of a URL. So we can access it and we can get the latest memes using that. So I think you are really excited for the next video. So without further ado, let's move to the next video and deploy this website onto Heroku.